Welcome back to Small Caps. My name's Kerry Stevenson, and today delighted to be bringing you Jeremy Robinson, Managing Director of RareX. ASX code is REE. And for those of you that want to know, we're going to be talking rare earths. Many of you out there will wonder, what are rare earths? So what I'm going to do is we're going to start off by explaining a little bit about the market, why rare earths are important, and then we'll dig a little bit deeper into RareX and why I think this is a company going places with lots on the horizon, lots of great announcements coming up. So, Jeremy, great to see you. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us, Kerry. Very nice to be here, talking to you and your audience. Well, what's a very, very exciting day for us. We've got some exciting news coming out, just come out actually, and what's an exciting space in rare earths. We think it's going to be a great decade to be in this space. Very exciting with all the technologies going on, and thanks for having us.
Well, Jeremy, I know that that you've had some great news come out, and I know you're chomping at the bit to talk about it. But let me just start by saying, let's talk about rare earths, because I know that there's a number of different rare earths, but you're focused on certain ones. Why are rare earths important? What are they, and which rare earths is RareX focused on?
Yeah, look, rare earths are critically important for the new world economy that's going on, the transitions to the electrification of the world, EVs, wind turbines, robotics, cell phones, everything. They're basically the backbones of the new technology that is upon us. Neodymium and praseodymium are the rare earths that we're focusing on. We refer to them as NdPr for short.
Thank good, Jeremy. Thank you, because I can't even pronounce those. Can you say them again?
Neodymium and praseodymium. Look, they've been confusing me for a long time as well, but I've only just got used to them. So
okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call them NdPr, Neo and those ones. Okay, so those are the ones you're focused on.
Yes, they're the ones we're focused on. They're the light rare earths that go into the rare earth permanent magnets, which are very, very high strength magnets, which are used in your electric vehicles and wind turbines, etc. They've got a very high power to weight ratio, so trying to keep the weight of your cars down, etc. You want these rare earth permanent magnets. They're just essential and irreplaceable for the new world economy.
And what is the market at the moment? Is it because I think obviously there's some geopolitical tension at the moment between a very large country across the water and other countries around the world. Is that making your project here in Australia good geopolitical area? Is that of interest as well, being able to know that you've got your project here in Australia in a very safe jurisdiction?
No, that's exactly right. So what you've seen over the last 20, 30 years is the dominance of the rare earth market by China. I can say it. China has built up a very strategic position in the rare earths industry. It produces, sort of 80 to 90% of the world's rare earths and rare earth permanent magnets as well. And it's become a real weakness for the West, if you will. I guess they're mostly worried about the use in the weapons industry, in the aerospace industry, in the armaments industry. There's a lot of rare earths in those as well. So it's a strategic weakness for the West against the Chinese in that respect, but also it's a weakness in terms of they need all these ingredients to go into Tesla cars, for example, that are being built in the US. So it has become a geopolitical football, if you will. You see in 2011 when China turned off the tap to rare earths to the rest of the world, the price of rare earths went from $50 to $280 a kilo. So it is a tool at China's disposal to, if they don't like what we're doing, they can turn off the rare earths business, and it will really affect us and cripple our industries. So back to your question, is it important where our project is located? Very much so. There's been a push by Western countries such as Australia and the US to build up a pipeline of projects outside of China and to build up the industry outside of China as well. So a focus by governments across in the West outside of China. So
I noted that the Australian government have said that they look at rare earths as a strategic metal, and they've said we need to focus on strategic metals going forward.
That's right. I think it was January 1 this year. They set up the Critical Minerals Facilitation Office in Canberra, which is designed to promote our cause in a loose alliance with the US in terms of developing our own critical minerals industry, of which rare earths is a part of that. It's a very big part. Obviously, Lynas is the champion of our industry here. It's the only sort of major production outside of China. And I know the Critical Minerals Facilitation Office has been working closely with Lynas, and they're working very closely with the rest of us as well. So all the up-and-comers, if you will.
Fantastic. Well, why do you think, because one of the things you said was China has 80 to 90% of the market, and that when they turned off supply, the price went from 50 to 280. I guess there is a concern that might happen again. Is your project able to fill a little bit of that supply? And let's talk about where RareX are at the moment with your project, because exciting news at the moment with your project.
Yes, very much so. I mean, we can help fill the void, if you will, to put some production outside of China. We're sort of at coming up the curve in terms of our development with the project. We've had some very exciting news out today about our drilling that's been going on at Cummins Range. It's the first drilling that's been done up there in some 10 years. We've had some extremely high-grade results from our drilling today. Had 2 holes with about 30 metres and 40 metres at plus 4% rare earth oxides.
Okay, so explain, sorry to interrupt you, Jeremy, but explain why that is important to our listeners out there, this drilling and the high-grade results. Obviously, we understand high-grade is good, but explain to people that don't understand rare earths why this is really, because these are exceptional results. Yes,
look, well, put simply, grade is king, as it is in all these projects. So the higher your grade, the better your project. Our global resource historically has been about 1.2% TREO, but these results in today are much, much higher than that, plus 4% TREO, with some internal grades within those widths of up to 25% rare earth oxide. So you're talking grades that are comparable with the Mount Weld deposit that's owned by Lynas in Western Australia. So this will allow us to bring a very high-grade portion of the resource into indicated category and bring that as part of our feasibility study, as part of our progression of the project towards production over the next few years. So probably a very high-grade starter pit for us as the result is the flow through of these results, and should benefit the economics of our project greatly. So we're excited by grade, as we always are in this industry.
Jeremy, I think, has it even surprised you, because the grades are, ultra high? And let me just explain to people, TREO that Jeremy just mentioned, that is total rare earth oxide. Am I right?
That's correct. Total rare earth oxide. So there's 17 rare earths, and they all go into that basket together. And part of those rare earths are neodymium and praseodymium. So yeah, this is what everyone reports. They report total rare earth oxide, and yeah, we're very excited by the grades we're seeing.
But has this surprised you, the high grade of this? Because I know we always we'd like it, but has it even surprised you?
Oh, look, I was always hopeful coming into this project. We knew there was a high-grade core to it. We've had to do the drilling to explain it to investors, but the results we're seeing today have definitely exceeded my expectations in terms of what I thought we were going to get. And look, it's probably some of the highest grade that's ever been drilled at this deposit, and we expect to see more of this style of stuff as the rest of the assays flow through. So look, it's a very, very, very good start for us. 3 holes out of 58 holes to come in. And, we've seen 2 exceptional holes out of 3. Hopefully we'll see more in the coming assays.
Well, well done for that. Let's talk about the drilling program for those people who are already investors with RareX, and those that are looking at it and saying, oh, this is a pretty interesting time in the development of the company, because, as you say, these drill results are high grade. There's still more to come. So let's just talk about what's going on now and what you see in the near future.
Yeah, well, we finished our drilling program physically about 3 weeks ago. We've just been getting all the samples off to the lab, and I think the last of the samples left site early last week, and they're all in the lab now. So over the next 4 to 6 weeks, we'll see the rest of these assays flow through. Hopefully we'll see lots more high grade, which will indicate to people that we do have a a high-grade portion of this resource, which we can build a feasibility around. And beyond that, the following step is to show some positive metallurgy to the market, which will be the next step on from these assays. And we've got very good metallurgists on board called Gavin Beer, who will be assisting us with our metallurgy. Yeah, and that's where we want to get to over the next sort of 3 to 4 months is, grow this resource and improve some metallurgy. So very.
Forgive my ignorance here, Jeremy. At the same time, are you looking for partners for the rare earths at this early stage, or is that further down the track?
Oh, look, we've had preliminary discussions with a lot of groups. There are some in China, there are some in the US. We're working primarily with a group called Talaxis, who is part of the old Noble group, if everyone remembers that. So, yeah, we've been working closely with them, trying to identify our partners that will help us develop this project. And yep, we have had some initial discussions, but what we wanted to do is get this drilling out of the way, get the resource up to an indicated status, get the metallurgy done, and then we'll be banging down the doors, or hopefully they'll be banging down our doors to get involved with our projects. So.
I was just about to say, I think it'll be the other way around, but
Yep.
And what's the market like? Is it increasing in size for rare earths at the moment? It sounds to me like, you spoke before about EVs, electric vehicles, as well as wind turbines. Is the market increasing quite a lot in size, or is it fairly steady as you go?
The part of the market we look at is the NdPr part of the market, and we're seeing growth rates in that market about 10% compound per year. We're expecting the market to at least double towards the back end of this decade. And, as we see the growth in the EV market, we don't really see that market fully developing until the end of this decade. So, very strong growth in the next few years, but explosive growth towards the back end of this decade. And that's what we're all in it for. We're in it for this growth, this widespread adoption of EVs and wind power as well. So, yeah, we're really excited by the prospects.
Yeah, so what you've got a project which is actually going to help with some of these greener technologies coming into the market, which can only be a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Jeremy, I do want to talk about Weld North, which is in Western Australia. Let's talk about where you are with that project at the moment.
Yeah, this is a project we generated late last year with our geophysicist. They showed us a very exciting geophysical target about 80 kilometres north of the world-class Mount Weld mine owned by Lynas. It has the same geophysical signature. It sits under about, we don't know how much sand, but it won't be a lot of sand, so it's been masked from modern exploration. And it's just been granted, and our program of work has been accepted by the government. We plan to be out there drilling in the next month or two, which is a very exciting project for us. We'll know very quickly whether we're onto something there, and the size of the geophysical target is analogous to the Mount Weld mine itself. So it could be a real game changer for us, that one. We look forward to drilling it. And when you drill holes, sometimes you get lucky, and that's where we plan to be.
If it is close to the Lynas Mount Weld project, how did it come into your hands? I mean, why didn't somebody else pick it up, or why didn't even Lynas look at it? Is it along the same sort of geographical?
Look, it's loosely in the same area. It's near Laverton in Western Australia. It's about 80 kilometres away, so look, a fair distance. But it sits just off the side of the Greenstone Belt, where a lot of the major gold companies sit. Garden Well of Regis has most of the Greenstone Belt covered to our west, but we sit just off to the east of the Greenstone Belt, and luckily the ground was available for us to pick up in our own right 100%. So it was something our geophysicists brought to our attention, and we were happy to have it. And we'll be out there shortly to test all our theories and see whether we have another Mount Weld on our hands.
Just rare earths, or do you think you might have a little bit of gold, and what else could be there?
Yeah, look, when you're drilling in the gold fields, you're always a chance of finding gold as well. So, look, we will assay for everything, but primarily it's a rare earth target for us. But, given where it is, you'd be silly not to assay for gold.
Absolutely. And speaking of which, there's another project which is almost like a nice add-on for investors, which is the joint venture that you've done in New South Wales, the copper gold assets, and you've done a joint venture with Kincora Copper. Now, what's the background to that, and what's the advantages that RareX have got with this project?
Yeah, these were a bunch of assets that were in the shell company, if you will, when I came to the company in the middle of last year. For want of a better term, legacy assets to the company, but I could clearly see the value in them, being in the Lachlan Fold Belt with very good copper gold potential. Our focus at the time was on rare earths, and given the nature of the exploration over there, it's porphyry drilling is what they're looking for. Copper gold porphyries is quite an expensive specialist business to be in. So we went looking for a joint venture partner as soon as we could. And we're very happy to attract the TSX-listed Kinkora Copper, led by a chap by the name of John Holliday, who was one of the principal discoverers of the very large Cadia deposit, now mined and owned by Newcrest, which I'm sure everyone has heard of. And so we attracted them in. We retain a 35% free carry interest in the project and 10% of the Kinkora stock. And they've been having a fair bit of success out there. A lot of smoke so far. I feel like they're just zeroing in on the target. Porphyry exploration can be a long game. So, and luckily for us, they've just raised another $5 to $6 million, and they're fully funded for the next 20 holes. If they find anything, it's meaningful exposure for our shareholders at the 35% free carry.
So that's a legacy asset. You don't really have. So you've done the deal. It's sitting over here, and it's just good news for shareholders. It's not something that you have to fund at all, but if they find something, it could be pretty exciting.
Yep, no, I'm very happy to. I really like free carries. They work for me and my shareholders. We get a lot of upside, and we don't have to put our hand in our pocket, which is a good place to be in this business. So.
And you know what, you're right, Jeremy. And at the end of the day, it is about. I love it when I hear managing directors talk about it's about the shareholders, because that's really important. So let's talk about great, spectacular, high-grade results that have come out from your Cummins Range project. You've got the free carry with the New South Wales Lachlan Fold, the copper gold assets there. You've got the close to Mount Weld. There's a lot going on. Is the focus right now in getting the Cummins Range? Is that your total focus at the moment?
That's very much my focus at the moment. We see rare earths starting to tick up. We see a lot of investor interest in the space. We truly believe in the space, and we believe in the ability of Cummins Range to come into production in the next 2 to 3 years, when we expect to see high rare earth prices. So, look, rare earths is our focus. We're always happy to trip over a gold deposit, and also happy to be free carried in our joint venture in New South Wales. So, plenty of tickets in the lottery for us and our shareholders.
Final question from me, Jeremy. In terms of, because I know some of these have got quite a long development process, et cetera, with the Cummins Range, what's your timeline on that one?
Look, we plan to finish a pre-feasibility sometime early next year, and from there we'll be in full feasibility study, hopefully finish that by the end of next year. And from there, it's probably a 2-year path to production for us. So 3 years from now, if I'm in production and paying dividends, that'd be a good place to be. So
you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Paying dividends. I love that.
Dangerous talk, isn't it? Yeah.
Very dangerous talk, Jeremy. Very dangerous talk. We're going to watch this space. I'm going to have you back on at the end of the year and see how things are going. I can't believe how fast this year is going. But look, congratulations, because you had a feeling that you had something out there at Cummins Range. It's exceeded all your expectations. Final thoughts for our investors listening.
Look, I think it's going to be an exciting time for shareholders, new and old. We've got a lot of news coming up in the next 2 to 3 months as these assays flow out of Cummins Range. I expect a lot of talk about rare earths in the news running into the US election with the geopolitical tensions going on. And by the way, we've got 2 rigs going in our joint venture in New South Wales. So there could be some news coming out of that as well. So stay tuned and pay attention, and we'll keep making noise, and hopefully the share price will continue to move up as it has for most of the last few months. So yeah, exciting times.
Yeah, very exciting times for RareX. So ladies and gentlemen, as I said right at the beginning, the ASX code is REE. Go do your own research. But as you can see, Jeremy is delighted with these spectacular, thick, high-grade results from the Cummins Range Rare Earth Project. Watch this space. We'll be back with Jeremy later on in the year. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks very much. It's been a pleasure.